This is Jamey from Stillmeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanisms in Let's Make a Bus Route, the dice game. There's a really clever touch in this game where the lid comes with kind of a felt pad built into it, and so when you're rolling dice in this game, which you're doing quite often, you get to roll them on this lid, and they're not as loud, and they're all gathered in one space. I thought it was a really nice, little pleasant touch to this game. There are two mechanisms that I want to talk about. Let me talk about my honorable mention first, and that is that in Let's Make a Bus Route, it's kind of a roll and write, a little bit of dice drafting, which I'll get to that in a second, but it's a roll and write game. And I really like the aspect of timing in the game as it pertains to two of the mechanisms here. So there are two little mini games here. And basically, if you pick the purple die, you're going to cross off one of these little numbers in a row, in an active row. And when you, and this is tied to one other thing that I need to explain, but the other thing that you're doing in this game is moving around this map. And when on this map, you reach a certain building that relates to this little mini game. So here's a little purple building here. Whenever you reach, when your bus reaches one of these purple buildings, that triggers the scoring on this row. So if I've crossed off 3 of these numbers on this top row, that's directly below the 9 here, and on my next turn, I reach this building, that says, okay, I'm done with that row. I'm scoring it. I'm crossing them all, or I'm writing a 9 down here, and then I get to start a new row. I really like that element of timing as it connects to these mini games over to this map that you're moving around on. I think that's really, really clever. And this actually ties to my favorite mechanism, which is that the game is completely asymmetric on a turn-by-turn basis based on what you're doing. One player is going to roll these dice, all the white dice, and they are going to choose 3 of those dice, and they are going to use those dice to kind of cross off some stuff on their mat here. That's what they'll be doing. The other player, however, will be choosing 1 of the dice, and they are going to move, as shown up here on their mat, they're going to move their bus on the map, as I mentioned before, based on that configuration. So, for example, if I chose the little camera on my move as the moving player, I would have to move the bus 3 segments straight forward with no turns. And that's how it works. That's the entire game. One player is rolling some dice. They're choosing 3. The other player is choosing 1 of those dice and moving on the map. And so they're completely asymmetric. One of the players is just doing kind of all of this roll and write stuff on their little map, while the other player is zooming around this map. But then they switch every turn. You're switching back and forth depending on what you're drafting. It's designed to be either a 1 or 2 player game. And I think that's really, really clever. That it has this, that on your turn, you're doing such a variety of things based on whether or not it's your turn or if you're the follow player. And that's it. I mean, simple game, but I really, really like those mechanisms. Lots of little fun mini games in here, and I love the timing aspect. I love order of operations and timing in games. So yeah, Let's Make a Bus Route, the dice game. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you can think of other games that have a little bit of feel to it, asymmetric feel to it on a turn-by-turn basis like this, or other games that use timing. There are plenty of games that use timing and order of operations, but if you have one that comes to mind, feel free to mention it in the comments below. Thanks.